Hey guys, we are on Chapter 4, Level 3, Babel. First things first, we want to deal with two Templars who are perched on a tower, so you need to deal with them by shooting the barrels right next to them, which will blow them up. And it is the best way of dealing with them, simply because they have shields and it's difficult to hit them directly, so using the barrels is the best way to deal with them. And that's going to be a recurring theme for this level, as there are a ton of barrels littered everywhere, and you might as well make use of them because you're going to need to save as much ammo as you can in this level, because you are going to need it. This level does offer plenty of ammo, don't get me wrong, but the ammo that you get from this level, you're going to make good use of it. Trust me, and you're going to need all of that ammo for what's to come, because this level is quite possibly the toughest level in the entire game, and you're about to find out why. But first of all, we need to deal with these Arabian warriors, and they're basically all grouped up, so I can shoot the barrels to blow a large chunk of them up, because as we know, explosions in Painkiller are serious business. As you can see there, I blew them up with a chain reaction, which blew up all the other barrels, which took out most of them. So it's a good payoff if you ask me. You know, like, I don't even, that was 2 for 1, but usually like you get way more in a single hit of the barrels, so you can really deal some serious damage there. And like I say, it's just one shot and you can blow up so many people with one stake. Plus, you won't really need to use the Stakegun that much for the rest of this level. The best thing to do with the Stakegun is to simply shoot the barrels. And I do recommend using the Stakegun over the Painkiller because it's faster. Anyways, this section is where things start getting rough. Now, as you can see there are Templar Knights and there is also an Executioner. Now, the Executioners in this level are not to be messed with. Unlike the previous levels where they were kind of just cannon fodder, in this level they have an attack which can shoot a grapple at you, which actually deals some pretty nasty damage to you, so you want to get rid of them quickly, as they can pose quite an annoyance. As for the Templars, well, these guys are definitely not to be messed with. These guys are rougher than they were in Paris even. That's how tough they are. And they also come with a multi-shot, like, basically the best way to explain it is that they will shoot 3 bullets, well, not bullets, but they'll shoot 3 arrows in a cone. It's kind of like a triple shot, in a way, in the sense that they shoot 3 arrows in one shot and they move in different directions. Well, they're shot in different directions, so it's difficult to avoid them. Now, the best way to do this is to shoot them with the Chaingun when they're on their own, and when they're together in groups you want to shoot the rockets, and you want to keep on the move but be careful. Watch their animations, make sure that they're not about to shoot, and if they are, be careful, because you might actually accidentally dodge into one, and believe me, it's not hard to dodge into one of those things. It's really challenging to avoid them, and you're going to have a lot of problems with those things, so yeah. Anyways, there's another group of them over here, but these guys are actually a lot easier, just simply because you can shoot the wall next to them to kill the 2 on the right hand side. There's only the one that will pose a threat, and the best way of dealing with him is to shoot him with the chain gun, but I thought that I could deal with him with an extra shot, but it didn't work, so I just shot him with the chain gun before he could do anything. Anyways, you want to swap to the shotgun, and you want to go up here. You'll be using a lot of the freezer in this level, especially if you're dealing with these Executioners, which you want to deal with. Now, the reason why I went back down the stairs is because he used his grapple, and that has a pretty long range, does that grapple as well, so you want to be very careful. Anyways, beasts return, and these guys are still just as annoying as they were previously. But this time, there's a new enemy, Giant Beast, and you basically shoot him with the Electrodriver, because it's the best way of dealing with the beasts. Trust me, you don't want to use the shotgun, just basically keep firing the Electrodriver. Like, you get plenty of ammo for the Electrodriver, so you might as well use it. Use the driver for the most part, as you can basically shoot them at mid-range to deal like massive damage so that they can't even reach you. and you'll kill them so quickly that they won't even get a chance to do anything other than spawn. Anyways, there's more beasts coming, and there's also some more executioners, but you want to shoot the barrels, which will kill all the beasts before they even meet you, so you want to just focus on getting rid of the beast, then the executioners, and finally there's some Templars. And I'm trying to basically shoot the wall to bounce, basically to create a splash damage with my rockets here. And yeah, I like to take my time with this level because yeah, it's difficult as it is, and I don't want to risk too much, so I try and deal with these Templars, and it takes way too long. But yeah, you get to see me shooting this wall for about a few minutes until they finally die. I probably, well, it is kind of advisable that you do this if you're on trauma, but it's probably the best thing to do in this section is probably to just go in and just like test your luck. It's just that you're in a pretty awkward position, and these guys are not in an awkward position. If you can take down that one guy, then the other guy can easily be taken out with the freezer. But because there's two, it makes things more complicated. As you can see, if you aren't careful, then yeah, you can get screwed over by that guy. So that's why I decided to do it that way. But yeah, another way you can do it is if you shoot him with the freezer, well, one of them with the freezer, then you can basically get around them. But I just prefer to use the rockets because it's just so hard to utilize the freezer because you can only do it to one of them and the other one's going to strike back. Anyways, here, do not go on the inside of the wall for the first bit because they'll all be charging in from that side. So you want to stay on the opposite side of the wall, of the inner wall, and just basically just keep shooting rockets at their feet. You want to shoot rockets at their feet and not directly at them because for some reason their shields will soak up all the blow, so you want to be careful. Anyways, Arabian warriors will charge in, use the Stakegun because you want to save as much shotgun and freezer ammo as you can because you're going to need a lot of it to deal with all the executioners and maybe some of the Templars as well. But yes, these guys go down fairly quickly. They're just cannon fodder. If you really want to, you can use the Painkiller, but I don't use the Painkiller that much in this level, if at all, because I just want everyone to die quickly just so I can get through them all, if you know what I mean. And that's why I'm killing all of these Arabian warriors with the Stakegun. Anyways, the next part is a pretty annoying part, and it's completely optional. You don't actually have to do this, but it's definitely worth doing this, especially if you're doing it on trauma because of what you get for it. So yes, this is actually leading to a secret over here, and it's not really much of a secret because it's very easy to find, but it's more of an optional area, and you get a pretty nice reward for it, so it's worth coming down here. But at the same time, it's kind of annoying because you're up against some pretty challenging enemies. You've got the Templar Knights, and you've got a few Arabian warriors just to mix things up, but the biggest problem are the Templar Knights, which will start shooting like tons of arrows at you, and because there's like tons of them in large groups, they'll like shoot several rounds of those shots, and you have to be very careful, and you really want to watch their animations and make sure that they're shooting first before you actually go into cover, because it's all about quick covering is this, and dodging those bullets, or not bullets, those arrows. Yeah, it's not chapter 3, there's no bullets really in chapter 4, it's not really focused on that. It's focused on good old-fashioned medieval weaponry. That's what this level's all about, or this chapter's all about. So yeah, you don't have to worry about dealing with pseudo commandos and their like bullets and that lot. But you do have to deal with some tricky enemies that pose just as much of a threat as pseudo commandos do, just in a different way. Because the damage that these guys can deal with their kind of like arrows or missile shots, and well, pretty much every enemy that has a missile shot in chapter 4 is going to be pretty deadly. And these guys are no exception. They can deal a lot of damage to you very quickly, and you really want to avoid their projectiles because they are deadly. As you can see there, I got hit by, well, I nearly got hit by 2 waves of arrows, and you really want to be careful because you don't want to dodge and then quickly go back in only to find out that you get shot by another arrow. You want to make sure you can pay attention to the animations from afar. And it is pretty difficult. As you can see there, it came out and then I was instantly shot again, so it's pretty tricky. But the challenging part about this is that I'm running low on ammo, so I'm going to have to use the Stakegun to deal with them, and that's not the most effective way, but it seems that it's effective enough. It's just, well, it isn't effective enough, let's put it ways. Not as effective as I would have liked it, but it seems to work. But yes, I ended up using the rocket launcher to deal with them in the end because it is the best way. But I'd probably recommend moving forward, which I kinda don't. Like, you learn a lot from playing this level, about this level when you play it. Like, every time I play this level I always have a hard time, and this level is no exception. This level gave me a real hard time when I was trying to dodge all of these bullets, and it always gives me a hard time every single time I play through this level. There's so many ways that you can just fuck up on this level, it is ridiculous. So yeah, I'm basically trying to do... I'd actually probably say that this run through of the level that I did is actually probably one of the best run throughs I've ever done of this level, because I've always had a hard time doing this level in every single playthrough I've done, and to be honest, this is probably the first time I've actually done this level on Trauma without tarot cards. It's hard enough with tarot cards on Nightmare difficulty, but on Trauma, this level is really tough. Like, this level just blows Nightmare out of the window when you get into Trauma, but at the same time, it's just as hard in a way in Nightmare, it's just harder in Trauma. Well, that didn't really make sense, but it's still hard in Nightmare, so if you're playing this game on Nightmare, this level is still going to be rough, especially if you don't use tarot cards. But ultimately, I really do like this level because I just like how it's challenging, but at the same time, it's kind of different from levels in Chapter 3 in the sense that you're dealing with a lot of, like, shooting enemies, but you actually have to avoid enemies. Like, rather than, like, shoot first, ask questions later, which you will have to do a bit of it, but you'll also have to mix that in with a lot of, like, awareness and dodging, which there's plenty of that in this level, so it's a nice mix-up of the two different types of play. You want to shoot first, ask questions later, but at the same time, in certain sections, you want to be more observant and more careful with your actions, so, yeah, and plus you want to be bunny hopping often in certain sections as well, but in this section, it's more about being careful and positioning yourself, so there's a lot of variety in this level. And yeah, the battle music as well is just intense. Like, it really is an intense battle song, which perfectly fits this level if you ask me, because this level itself is intense. I mean, dealing with all these Templars and, like, executioners that use that grapple weapon, yeah, you need some intense music for that, and fortunately, Painkiller offers an intense track for this level, so yeah, it has an intense soundtrack in general, but this song is even more intense than the other songs in the game. Like, it stands out as being a more intense track, let's put it that way, which is kind of fitting considering how challenging this level can be, particularly on Trauma if you're not using tarot cards, as this level can be a real pain to do. But once you get through that gauntlet, you are rewarded with a ton of ammunition, and you're going to need all of that ammunition. Might not need a lot of the shotgun ammo, but you'll need the freezer ammo, definitely. There's ammo packs here for more freezer ammo, and chaingun ammo as well, and rocket launcher ammo, but you'll mainly be using the rockets, the chainguns mainly to deal with the Templars, like individual Templars. And there's a gold ammo if you didn't have enough armor, which I did because I got the gold armor anyways. Anyways, here comes the Crusher section. This section is basically where you're going to get to listen to the amazing ambient music of this level. This level has quite possibly my favourite ambient music in the entire game, because it's just awesome. Well, I don't think awesome's the word, really, considering the fact that this game has a lot of, like, awesome battle music. Like, I suppose you could call it awesome, but to me, when I define awesome, I look at awesome as like fast-paced, adrenaline pumping. This is just really nice music. I really do like this song. It's like, it just really has a nice feel to it. It's got a nice serene feel to it. But at the same time, well, I don't think serene's the right word for it really, but it's a beautiful song, let's put it that way. Which is kind of ironic because this is in purgatory. But at the same time, it's kind of got that ominous feel to it, which is just like, you feel like you're getting closer to, like, you feel like you're getting, like, further along in your journey and all that lot, which is pretty cool. I like that feel. It kind of reminds me of the music that plays in Pandemonium in Diablo 2, which is like the town hub. Kind of. It's not completely. It's a bit differently. It's a bit different from Diablo 2's theme, but yes, it does remind me of that. But yeah, it's a really nice track. I really do like this ambient music. But yes, this section, as you can see here, what you want to do is get past the crushers, and there's a specific sequence you want to follow to get past them, and you want to look at the pillars to make sure that you don't accidentally get slightly crushed by the pillar on the other side that you just passed, because you might actually like accidentally get clipped by the crusher, and you don't want that to happen. So you use the pillar and you line yourself up with the pillar to make sure you don't get crushed, or barely crushed. Anyways, as you can see here, what you want to do, ideally when both of them are low like this, which I should have really gone at that point, but that's when you want to go, because when you go like at that point, then it's kind of like you've just got to pay attention to this section and think a little bit, because when they're both low, they're only going to go up, and they're only going to crash down when they are at the top. So really, when it might seem that getting them at the top is the best way to pass them, but it's actually not. You want them to be rising upwards, because in this game the crushers don't actually damage you by just touching them. They have to actually crush you to damage you. So yeah, I mean, there's one thing that annoys me in certain, like, some things in games, like some obstacles in games can hurt you just by touching them, which is kind of annoying, and you don't know whether to like just go under them at a certain point or not. But yeah, in any case, as you can see here, this is a more tricky one, because one of them is faster than the other, and when they're both going up at the same time, they're both going to crush you very quickly, and you do not want to go at this point. And that's going to go down immediately, but then they're both going to go up. This is a good time for you to move past, but you want to take your time and go when you feel is the right time for you to go, pretty much. Just pay attention to the patterns and you'll get used to it, but ideally you want to go when both of them are raising up like this and they're kind of below halfway. That's when you want to move, and I moved at that point, as you could see there. But it kind of confuses you because they move at different rates, but ultimately they will all have a section like that. It's just that they have a different pattern to it. You just have to wait for that section and then go for that section. So it's not really too difficult to do this crusher section. Not as difficult as the one in Battle Out of Hell, which is pretty difficult if you ask me, because yeah, it gets a bit more complicated in that game. And yes, there is going to be another crusher section in that game, but yeah, I don't think I'll be getting to Battle Out of Hell anytime soon, to be honest. Like, that'll probably, I don't know, maybe I'll do Battle Out of Hell, I don't know. I did it as my original Let's Play, which I deleted out of frustration. But yeah, like, I don't really want to go back to that just yet. But yeah, as you can see here, this one moves up and down very quickly, and it's quite possibly the more challenging obstacle, but when you move at the right time, you should be able to pass it anyways. It's just a bit faster, but it's all about moving when they're both low, and you should be able to get through if you're quick enough. Anyways, this This bit is really annoying, probably the most annoying section in the entire level, because suicide beasts appear. I'm just going to call them suicide beasts, but yeah, I think that's what they're called. It doesn't really matter what you call them really, but they have they have barrels on them which explode and they charge at you, and you want to use the Chaingun to deal with them. Not the Electrodriver, because I find the Chaingun has more stopping power, and you really want, it has a higher fire rate, and because, yeah, that, difference in fire rate makes a big difference, and since they they die in one hit anyway, so you want the fire rate more than anything, so yeah. Anyways, in this section, a lot of Arabic warriors, or Arabian warriors, and executioners. You want to focus on dealing with the executioners first, because if you don't, then they might end up jumping you and hitting you with the grapple while you're dealing with the rest. So deal with those first, and as you can see, you can probably tell what's going to happen once you've dealt with all the Arabian warriors. It's pretty obvious what I'm going to do, but I'm going to let you take a guess at that first while you wait for me to deal with these guys. Yeah, you just use the freezer on them and shoot them, but use the freezer on them, but don't stand still while you're shooting. Never stand still in this section. This is constant bunny hopping. Make sure that they cannot hit you with their, just don't face them, don't let them face you. That's basically just it. Don't just stand there and let them hit you, and just don't face them ever, because as you can see, it's very easy for them to hit you, and I barely just dodged that. So you want to be very careful when the enemy is attacking, particularly when the executioners are attacking, as it's very difficult to read their animation as well. So just keep sidestepping and make sure you freeze them, mainly to stop them as well. That's why you need all this freezer ammo, just to deal with these guys. And also be very careful, because even when you freeze them, they can still launch that grapple. It has happened before. Let's put it this way, I'm not exactly sure if they can, but it has happened to me before where I have gone to freeze them and the grapple still hit me. Maybe it was just before the freeze, but you really want to be careful, because it's very difficult to read when that attack is coming, and you never want to stand still when you're fighting them. So if you're going to hit them, make sure you're moving while you hit them. You don't want to stand still while you hit them, because if you do, then you're going to get hit by their grapple attack. But anyways, you can tell exactly what I'm doing here. It's basically the same as the first time. Just shoot the barrels and blow these guys up in groups, which is the best way of dealing with them, and use the Stakegun to do so, because we won't be needing this weapon really. This weapon's not the most useful in this level, but we're going to make some use out of it. As for the Painkiller, well, that weapon kind of isn't really useful in this level. I suppose you can use it, but it's just a bit too slow considering what you have to deal with. You really need to do a lot of, you really need a weapon with a fast velocity, and the Stakegun has that, so it's really ideal for dealing with these barrels. And as for the rest of the enemies, like the Templars, well, I mean, you can use the Painkiller, but it's just, if you're going on a trauma run, you just want to use a better weapon. You just want to go all out with this level, and using the Painkiller is the last thing you want to be using, because you have all these weapons and all this ammo. You might as well just use it at this point. And the Stakegun, you get plenty of ammo from it, so you might as well use the Stakegun over the Painkiller, and it's just better because of its velocity. As velocity is important, plus the fact that you can turn around after you've shot, so you can keep moving and shooting. But you do want to position your aim so that you hit the barrels, but you want to eventually just turn and keep bunny hopping, because you don't want to get swarmed. As you can see, these guys are coming from the other side, and you don't want to get hit by them, so you really want to constantly be on your toes in this level. But at the same time, you want to also be cautious and maybe slow down a little, just to position yourself. There's a lot of thought that goes into this level, but there's also a lot of reflex that goes into this level. You'll be using a lot of reflexes in this level, so it's a bit of both, and that's why I kind of like this level, as well as the amazing music and the visuals. This level is pretty nice. I really do like the lighting of this level, how it's this dark yeah, it's got this orangey glow lighting. I really do like that. I kind of liked it in Palace as well, but this level's darker, and I do like this dark setting, and like that's kind of the reason why this is my favourite level in Chapter 4. Mainly because I like the music the best. It's got the best music. Besides, like, my favourite battle music is definitely Factory, but my favourite ambient music is Babel. But in total, like, between both the musics, like in terms of all the music, like, Babel has the best, because the battle music is awesome. Like, it's just intense. It's just like heavy hitting metal music that's playing at the moment, and like, whereas the rest of the soundtrack is mostly just like, for example, like Palace was like a very chill, like, metal music in a way, and like you have music that's just like crazy metal music, but this is just like heavy hitting, if that makes sense. It's very heavy, like heavy metal music. Well, heavy metal's a genre, but you get what I mean. It's a very, like, powerful song, this. Like, it's a very intense song with its heavy notes. That's what I like about this song. I'm not really knowledgeable about music, but that's basically the gist of it. It's just got that really, like, powerful feeling to every single part of this song, basically. It's just a, like, really awesome song that you need for a level like this, because it's intense. It's not like, yeah, let's just kill everything. It's like, holy shit, this shit's about to get real type music. That's what this music's all about, and it's pretty awesome. And yeah, it's just, I just really like this level because it just really, it kind of reflects a lot on your, kind of like your journey through Painkiller. Because it's kind of like, you started this game and, like, it was very straightforward and simple and satisfying, but now the real challenge begins. That's kind of what this level's all about. Anyways, now that we've dealt with them all, and I went into the shotgun because I was running low on Stakegun ammo, so yeah. Grab the ammo and get ready for the next section. This section is pretty annoying, and you're going to find out why. Anyways, you want to first be careful, because a suicide beast is going to charge you, and for some reason he ran away and I didn't blow up the barrel. My mistake. But yeah, I basically shoot this so that I can try and lure them, because there's a huge pack of enemies behind that wall and I don't want to alert them of my presence just yet. I want to see if I can hit them first with splash damage. And yeah, there's also an executioner to mix things up as well, so you really want to be careful, and you want to take out the executioner and the beasts first before you even touch the Templars. Just simply because the, yeah, I keep missing him, but just simply because the executioner, like, can prove to be quite the nuisance, and you really don't want to be dealing with one of those guys while you're trying to mow down all of the Templars. And there are a ton of them this time around, and obviously the suicide beast, like, it's just a nasty mixture. There's another one as well, so you really want to be careful. Like, it's just a nasty mixture of enemies that they throw at you here, so you want to be prepared for all of them. And since there's tons of Templars, that means there's tons of things to dodge. But that's nothing a good rocket can't solve, so you can just basically shoot rockets at them and blow them up. But you really want to be careful of the other enemies and make sure you deal with those guys first, otherwise you're going to really have a hard time. Now this section can be kind of a pain if you do it wrong, but what you really want to do is you want to bunny hop quickly over here. Don't try to jump towards the windows. Yes, it can work sometimes, but the chances of it working are very low. And yeah, like, you just basically want to run across there, otherwise you will die instantly. So it's a bit of a troll move by the game, is that section. So yeah, anyways, there's a secret up there, you want to grab it. And yes, there's also a secret down here as well, which, yeah, you could have found this if you went the other way, which I did not want to go. But I have been this way before and I always get screwed over every time I go this way, so I decided, let's take the top way. The right way. But yeah, anyways, There's a lot of enemies around here, including executioners, and they're up close and personal this time around, and yeah, I get hit by one of the shots and another one of the shots because they're just right next to me. So yeah, there's a lot of Templars around, and the best way to deal with them is to use the freezer because yeah, up close and personal, and I completely missed him, so I got hit by his arrows. Fortunately I have a gold armor, so I don't take too much damage, but yes, there's also an executioner in the middle, just be careful of him. And there's more ammo around here. Now if you're going for the tarot card on Nightmare, then you want to grab all this ammo, so you want to make sure that you've kept up with all the ammo that I've gotten. Now I don't grab all the ammo because I'm doing a trauma playthrough, but you want to make sure that you grab all the ammo if you're playing on Nightmare to get the tarot card. But yes, there's more ammo down here, and if you need health, there's a health orb there, because we're about to enter the final area of this level, so yes. This level is almost over, but first you need to deal with a lot of enemy waves. First of all, you have to deal with Templars, and there's tons of them. The best way to deal with these guys is to go around the outside, as there's kind of a line of sight blocker which stops them from hitting you with their conal shots. So yeah, you really don't you really don't want to be in open areas in this level, because if you're in open areas, then these guys are going to screw you over with their archery. So you really don't want to, you don't really want to be hit by those arrows, so it's best to stay on the outer section so that you get protection from that wall, so you only have to deal with one missile, if anything, because the 3 missiles can't enter through those little doorways, so yeah, you kind of get a little bit of an advantage when you're there. But yes, the best way to deal with these guys is to use the Chaingun at this point, or the shotgun freezer. Depends really, but because I just want to get them dealt with, and yeah, it's difficult to hit them with the shotgun freezer, and I don't want to go around because I don't want to be in an exposed area, because they all like to hang around the inner section, so you want to stay in the outer section. And yes, basically take your time, and eventually you'll get to a section where you have enough time, enough of a chance to shoot them like that guy. And yeah, I'm just basically trying to pop in and out of the inner section, but also be protected. You don't want to stay too long in the inner section, because if you do, then you're going to get shot by their bullets. Well, I keep calling them bullets, they're arrows, but they might as well be bullets. They deal plenty of damage, so yeah. But yes, they are arrows. Don't confuse them with bullets. That's chapter 3, this is chapter 4, and in chapter 4, it's all about the medieval weaponry. Anyways, the next wave is beasts. These guys are annoying, but yeah, they're as annoying as ever. But the best way to deal with these guys is to use the Electrodriver, as the Electrodriver can basically screw them over. And you want to basically use a combination of the driver shurikens and the electro combo. Now, it doesn't really matter what you do, you might actually want to use the regular electro for this section as well, because these guys can be pretty quick and pretty deadly if you're not careful. But yes, now one thing I have found out is that, and the quad damage is actually interesting, because the quad damage kind of, I don't know if it's an explode on impact, I really don't know if it is, but the quad damage has kind of a more reddish looking explosion, but the shurikens do explode at a certain range. I just think that the quad damage makes them explode at any range. I think that's the difference, so that's why I noticed the exploding shurikens, but all of the shurikens explode at a certain range, so that's where you can really deal the most damage against these guys. So that's just something to note. Anyways, yeah, their annoying rolling attack hits me again. Actually, I don't know, did they hit me with that rolling attack before? I don't know, they've hit me with that rolling attack countless times, but I don't know if it was in this playthrough. Regardless, these guys are annoying, and the best way to deal with them is to use the shurikens and the electro, because I kept missing with the shurikens. So yeah, I'm using the electro now, and No point using the combo because they're all spread out. But yes, like, the good thing about the driver is it's used for mostly mid-range encounters, whereas you use the Electro when they get close. And the driver is actually better than the Electro it's actually better than the Chaingun in terms of damage when you hit them at mid-range. So it's pretty good, like, its DPS is better than the Chaingun at mid-range, so yeah, that's just something that I wanted to point out. And it's also important to note that rate of fire isn't always important in this game, and that's something that I found out after using some of the tarot cards. But regardless, this next section is going to be filled with executioners, and it's the last wave, so you want to, yeah, kill them all, and that's the end of the level. So yes, this level is pretty nice. I really do like the look of this level. It's just got this really, I just love how, like, the skybox is like starry, and just a really beautiful level in general. But yes, that's the end of this level. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.